Have you ever wondered which Asian countries send the most illegal immigrants to the United States? When people think about undocumented migration to America, their minds usually go straight to Latin America or Mexico. But the reality in 2025 tells a very different story. Over the past decade, the United States has seen a dramatic shift in migration patterns, and a growing number of undocumented or unauthorized immigrants are now arriving from Asia. These individuals often enter legally, as students, tourists, or workers, but many end up overstaying their visas or getting caught in a maze of delayed paperwork and unresolved asylum claims. For others, instability, poverty, or conflict at home pushes them to take desperate steps in search of security and opportunity in America. In this video, we're going to uncover the 7 Asian countries with the highest numbers of illegal immigrants currently living in the U.S. in 2025. From the world's 2 most populous nations, China and India, whose people often arrive through overstays, to conflict-affected states like Afghanistan, and smaller yet growing sources like Nepal and Bangladesh, the list might surprise you. We'll also talk about Pakistan and the Philippines, countries with long-standing migration ties to America, where legal routes and irregular ones often overlap. We'll explore why these groups come, how they stay, the jobs they do, and where in the U.S. they are most concentrated. You'll also learn how humanitarian programs, visa policies, and America's changing economy have shaped this hidden migration story. So stay tuned, because what you're about to see is more than just numbers. It's a deep look into the human stories, the struggles, and the policies that explain why millions of people from Asia are now living in the shadows of America in 2025. And we can start the video. I tell you what we discussed in this video. First, ranked list of 7 Asian countries with the most illegal immigrants in the U.S. An explanation of numbers, trends, and estimates for each country. Same as reasons behind migration: visa overstays, humanitarian crises, poverty, job opportunities, family networks. And also where these immigrants are mostly found in the U.S., and what jobs they often take. And all out the policy challenges and debates America faces in 2025 around Asian illegal immigration. Number 1, China. Hundreds of thousands, majority are long-term residents or visa overstays, China consistently appears as one of the largest Asian origins of unauthorized residents in the U.S. Estimates frequently place Chinese unauthorized residents in the low to mid-hundreds of thousands. Many are long-term residents who entered on student, tourist, or work visas and later fell out of status. Others arrived earlier as migrants and remained. Chinese unauthorized populations cluster in California, New York, and other metropolitan areas. Occupationally, they span service industries, small business ownership, caregiving, and some technical and professional sectors. The figures for China have been relatively stable compared with some other origin groups, but China remains a top Asian source in most recent estimates. Number 2, Pakistan. Growing but smaller than India/China. Pakistani nationals form a notable, though smaller, portion of the Asian unauthorized population in the U.S. Estimates put Pakistani unauthorized residents in the tens to low hundreds of thousands depending on the dataset. Reasons for migration include economic opportunity, family reunification attempts that become irregular, and asylum or humanitarian claims. Pakistani communities tend to concentrate in certain metro areas, New York, California, Illinois, where family and community networks facilitate both legal migration and irregular stays that later become unauthorized. Number 3, Bangladesh. Fast-growing origin, seasonal and service work patterns. Bangladesh has become more visible in unauthorized totals in recent years, particularly as migration networks and labor demand change. Estimates vary but often show Bangladesh among the larger South Asian origin groups in the unauthorized population. Many migrants from Bangladesh work in service, restaurant, and construction sectors and assemble in northeast metro areas and some southern cities. Growth drivers include economic displacement, family networks, and the relative ease of using private travel networks that later turn into overstays. Number 4, India, one of the fastest growing Asian origin groups. India has emerged as the single largest Asian country of origin for unauthorized migrants in the US in several recent estimates. Different data products put India's unauthorized population in the hundreds of thousands. Estimates range from roughly the mid-hundreds of thousands to higher figures depending on method. Much of the increase since 2020 reflects a mix of visa overstays, people arriving via humanitarian parole or asylum channels, and long-term stayers whose legal status is unresolved. Indian unauthorized migrants are often concentrated in tech and service hubs, California, Texas, New Jersey, New York, and include both lower-wage workers and high-skilled visa overstays. Policy debates in 2024 to 2025, including bilateral repatriation efforts and removal flights, highlighted India as a visible origin in enforcement discussions. Number 5. Philippines. Significant and steady unauthorized population. The Philippines is repeatedly cited among the larger Asian origins of unauthorized immigrants in the U.S. Estimates vary, commonly in the low hundreds of thousands or lower, but the Philippines is important because of long migration ties to the U.S., nursing and caregiving pipelines, and both legal and irregular channels. Filipino unauthorized migrants are often found in healthcare and domestic work. Sizable Filipino communities center in California, Hawaii, Nevada, and parts of the East Coast. The Philippine origin groups' numbers have shown more stability than some Central American groups, but they remain an essential part of the Asian unauthorized population. Number 6. Nepal. Rising counts tied to small business and service migration. Nepali nationals have shown rising counts in U.S. unauthorized estimates, though totals are smaller than for India or China. Nepali migrants often arrive through labor or family networks and are employed in restaurants, retail, and small businesses. Population pockets appear in the Northeast and some parts of the Midwest. Political instability and limited local opportunity in Nepal are common push factors. Community sponsorship and chain migration patterns help new arrivals plug into existing diasporas. Because the Nepali unauthorized population is smaller, even modest migration shifts can change rankings year to year. Number 7. Afghanistan. Refugee flows, parole, and complex legal status. Afghans in the U.S. present a distinctive pattern. Many arrived recently, since 2021, under evacuation, parole, or humanitarian programs, and a portion of that population has unresolved legal status, caught between temporary protections and long-term authorization. While Afghan totals of unauthorized residents are smaller than India or China, their visibility rose after the U.S. evacuation in 2021 and subsequent humanitarian parole pathways. Afghans are distributed across metro areas where resettlement agencies placed evacuees and where community networks exist. Their legal status is often in flux, which is why Afghanistan is included among notable Asian origins in 2024 to 2025 analyses. Why these countries show up in unauthorized estimates. Number 1. Visa overstays. Many people initially arrive on student, tourist, or temporary work visas and end up remaining after status expires. This pattern is common for higher-income origin countries, tech workers, students, and explains a lot of the India/China numbers. Number 2. Humanitarian and parole routes. Sudden crises create large groups with temporary protections that some datasets still count as unauthorized or twilight populations depending on method. Number 3. Chain migration and labor markets. Existing diasporas help newcomers find work even when legal channels are limited, especially in service, healthcare, construction, and small business sectors. Important caveats and what illegal means here. Different researchers, different numbers. Pew Research Center, the Migration Policy Institute, MPI, government analyses, and advocacy groups use different models, so totals for a given country can differ by hundreds of thousands. The trends, which countries are rising or falling and why, are more robust than any single number. Unauthorized versus illegal versus in limbo. Many people included in these counts have complex, changing legal status, pending asylum, TPS, parole, or visa lapses. Labeling entire communities illegal hides that nuance. Policymakers and researchers often use unauthorized as the technical term. What to watch in 2025? Policy actions and repatriation agreements. Some countries negotiating returns or cooperating more closely can change enforcement numbers quickly. Border and parole policy changes will shift the composition of the unauthorized population, for example, if humanitarian parole is expanded or curtailed. Data updates from MPI, Pew, and DHS. Those organizations publish refreshed estimates periodically. Any single snapshot should be treated as provisional. By 2025, the unauthorized immigrant population in the U.S. has become larger and more geographically and nationally diverse than in past decades. Asian origin countries, especially India and China, followed by the Philippines, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Afghanistan, feature prominently among origins because of visa overstays, humanitarian arrivals, and long-standing migration networks. Exact counts vary by source, but the story is clear. Migration patterns are changing, and any policy conversation should start from up-to-date, careful estimates rather than headlines.